Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, guys, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. And I have an amazing guest. You guys have made this person a fan favorite, one of my favorites. I'm speaking of Mary D. Mary D is the founder at MADLOVE Agency. This is a person that does speaking gigs all over the place. CEOs are waiting in line to book her to come in and to work with them. She has just fallen in love with being an entrepreneur, and she's done so many things as far as business goes and how to motivate and all the different techniques she offers a business. So if you're a business, and you gotta probably be you got to be up there because she's top of her game. You can go to maryd.com, and I don't know if she's taking new clients. I'll ask her, but maryd.com. If you want, you call in 631-730-7376 or give me an instant feedback. My producer will read it because I'm blind and I can't read from all the way over there. So go to kcinstantfeedback@gmail.com. Guys, with no further ado, it is my honor and my privilege to be a part of the Mary D show, and with the one and only Miss Mary D. Mary D, what's going on?
Hey, you always give me the kindest introduction, Casey. Thank you.
Well, you're awesome on the air.
Love it. I love it. Well, today I want us to talk about what lie do you believe that's keeping you from what you want? Because I think it's a good. Yeah, it's a good question, right? So one of my insights on this is that there are lies that we tell ourselves. There are lies that we tell others. There are lies that we are told. And sometimes we don't always recognize them as being lies.
That is the best part of it, because, especially if it's something that happened a long time ago, sometimes we say it so many times, we believe that it happened that way. Like I ran for 300 yards one game, but in essence, it was probably about 50. I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. Mary, so take us down this road. This is a great topic.
Yeah. So for example, maybe your parents told you that you weren't smart, or your grandma said you're clumsy. We're all not smart all of the time. We're human. We do dumb stuff sometimes, but doing dumb stuff doesn't always mean that we have to wear a label that holds a description that says I'm a dummy. But when we hear it over and over again, it gets reinforced. And so we start believing some of these things, and then they become our truth. And they also can become blinders for us. Another great example. So what I mean by a blinder is, let's pretend that as a speaker, I believed I was clumsy because my grandma said I was clumsy because I was a kid and probably might have been a little clumsy. If I go into life believing that, I may be scared to step onto a stage for fear that I may trip and fall, for fear that I may make a fool of myself because I've been reinforced that I'm clumsy. Now, could I get up on stage and trip and fall up the stairs? I could. As a matter of fact, I've actually done that once. But I'll tell you that I recovered quickly and still just kept going. And it was funny for like a second. And then everyone was at attention and ready to get the content and get the information and get the training and the learning. And so it was funny to me to have that actually happen and say, because no one wants to trip when they're on stage.
Oh, no.
But to actually have it happen and realize that because I didn't make a big deal out of it, no one else did either. And we moved right past it. And I was like, this is what professionals do. Yeah. And if I'd bought into a lie of being clumsy, I might have been shameful or felt guilt around it and maybe ran off of stage, right? Yeah, so there's all these different patterns that can show up in our life and happen around these stories that we may or may not believe, whether they were, again, told to us by someone else, or they're the ones that we tell ourselves. I mean, marketing media is a great example. They feed us lots of lies. Buy this cream because you look old. It'll make you look younger. You're too fat. You're too skinny. You're too loud. You're too quiet. Wear this brand and you'll be important. drive this car and you'll be popular. It's not in the best interest of the beauty industry to tell you that you're beautiful just the way you are. They wouldn't make any money if they weren't telling us that story. But the thing about beauty is it's subjective. And it's only when we start to believe that the standard of beauty is based on one source, right? So if they say, well, beauty is Victoria's Secret model, then for the rest of the population of women, we're feeling crappy because we're probably never going to look quite like a Victoria's Secret model. And so it creates this lie that says this is the standard, but it's really not. And then all of that to say, when we can lean into self-love and acceptance and understand that we are human and appreciate how wonderfully made we are in creation, unique and special in our own way, we're not meant to be carbon copies of each other.
Right.
You know, if the hand looked like the foot and operated like the foot, then we would all really struggle to zip up our pants on a daily basis.
Mary D, I'm just I got to hear your thoughts on this, because what you're speaking of, it must be so hard with social media, with this topic that we're talking about here. Social media has got to be the bottom of the barrel. This has got to be, it's a necessary evil, I guess. But as far as the self-esteem to believe lies that hold us back, social media's got to be on the top, right?
Yeah, I would say that that's true. There's a lot of there are a lot of great, authentic folks out there that are speaking from the heart, telling it like it is. And I don't want to minimize that because they do exist, but there is this whole other flavor of what's happening in social media, and the pressure to be a certain way or look a certain way is high. And it's hardest, I believe, on children because they're still developing and learning. And, once upon a time, we grew up in small communities. And in a small community, that's typically where the peer pressure comes from. It's typically driven by your community values and the people in that community. We don't have a small village anymore. We
Right.
can literally go see what's going on in China, Mexico, Canada, Europe. I mean, there aren't too many places that social media doesn't reach. And so this creates a whole new kind of village. And it's whatever you want to consume. And so what are we consuming, and what lies might we be believing about what we're seeing, right? Like everyone's got a story and they have their story. And that's what's important for people to recognize, is that, and some of it is fabricated because it helps the story sound better, fabricated because they're selling a thing, fabricated because it's just something they've been led to believe that they haven't either recognized as contrary, or is a lie that they want to believe, or it's what they want you to see or perceive that maybe they don't live in their normal life. It's kind of like the rise of virtual avatars, right? You can be whoever.
Everyone's become like almost like an actor, like they're selling something, right?
That's right. That's right. And so the reason I wanted to talk about this topic is because limiting beliefs and these lies, I call them limiting beliefs, they can actually show up in our work, and they often show up in other areas of our life. So when I ask this question, what lie are you believing? Not only that, but what does believing this lie allow you to do in other areas of your life? Like, how does it affect you in your work, in your relationships, in how you show up, right? And letting people know they have the power to change their story at any time. They can absolutely shift, change the story. They can not believe the lie. They can update their truth. And I think that this is a great opportunity and a great time to do that. It's also a great time to let people know that when you see someone giving a message, hear the message, like learn the lesson. That's really important. But when we really start idolizing those people who are delivering the message, we're setting ourselves up for some disappointment, because we're human and we're all going to make mistakes. We're not all going to be perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
That's right. That's right. And the faster we can embrace that, the faster we can actually learn and hear what we need to be listening for. And I think that's the biggest part, because how many of us have been so disappointed, like if you, we think about our celebrities. right? So pick your favorite celebrity. Let's pick Oprah, just because
Uh,
she's a popular one. Most people are going to know who she is when I
People
talk
know
about
who Oprah is. Yeah, she's
Oprah.
yeah, I mean, they might have heard of her.
Semi-famous, semi-famous, yeah. But I mean, she's a great example. I mean, what happens if if Oprah is saying that she's vegan and veganism is the only way to go, but then the media catches her eating at McDonald's? Like,
Oh, yeah. Great point.
does it suddenly mean that she's a terrible person and
Does it
she's
mean she
a
has no
liar?
integrity? She's a liar.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So
yes,
that's I get what you say now. See, nobody is perfect. Look, we're all gonna do. Sometimes we can all be hypocrites at times. We can always stub our
yeah.
toe. Maybe we're always like you said, we're not perfect. So that's a great point. I'm glad you said that because they're human too. But if they treat someone not the way they like to be treated, that's where it gets kind of cloudy. I think that's better than that. People know better than that, right?
Yes, yes. But there's also what I'll say about that is there's room for forgiveness,
Yes,
right? Think about
yes.
how many times in our lives too, Casey, right? That we've had our moments where we've
We've
not
snapped
been
at somebody or
kind.
something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all had those moments, and it's recognizing that like that's going to happen. Where I do think correction is certainly necessary, but I also do think that people can make an apology and people can update. They can up level their level of integrity and their character, and they can learn from a mistake that they've made in the past.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most important message in all of it. It's that
That
we are human.
that's
Yeah.
probably why you're at the top of your game because you're so positive and you're real. You know what I mean? Like you don't judge anybody, do you?
It's funny that you'd say that. I actually was on a very special retreat this weekend, and I don't consider myself a judgy person, but I will tell you that there was one night where I was definitely going through the gambit of judgment thoughts in my mind, and it made me recognize that even myself as a super positive person, I certainly do have judgments sometimes.
Wow.
But the way that I work through those and the way that I lasso those in so that they don't become truths is I shift into compassion.
Gotcha.
And that's the best advice I could give anybody, Casey, is the moment you're feeling judgment, especially for yourself, beating yourself up over something you did or haven't done, beating up someone else in your mind about what they look like or what they have or haven't done. If you shift your perspective and go, how can I have a lot of compassion for that person and what they might be going through? Because I can see a person across the room and go, wow, they are struggling with XYZ. But what do I really know?
Yeah.
I am not in their life. I am not in their mind.
You don't know what
I don't
happened to them
know.
today. Maybe this in the morning they found out that their parents were. I won't say anything, but you know where I'm going with it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They have different situations going on in their lives, and we all do. And
Yeah.
that's why I said, how do we really lean into that? And for ourselves too, because that's where the biggest self-talk happens. It's what's between the ears, it's our conversations with ourselves, and how do we really lean in and see ourselves in a level of through the eyes of compassion instead of so much judgment. Because when we sit in judgment all the time, of course we're going to feel defeated. Of course we're going to feel not good enough because that's what we're reinforcing.
Yep.
But when we bring out compassion, then we remind ourselves too, hey, I'm human and I'm not going to make perfect decisions all of the time. And I'm not meant to. And that's
Yeah.
okay. But where's the lesson that I might need to learn in this? Or where's the lesson I can give someone else in this as well?
That's awesome. I'm glad you said that.
You guys can
That's
take a
really
break.
cool. Mr. Producer, do I have to break now, or do I have to do instant feedback now?
You can take a break.
Okay, guys, the great Mary D. I got to take a short break. Come back. You got fans want to talk to you, and I want you to hear this little stanza here of commercials. There's some good stuff coming up here. Mary D. We'll be right back. I want everyone to go to maryd.com, and we'll be right back with the great Mary D.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses. and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
My name is Mary D, and I'm the Joy Catalyst, here to sprinkle you with some happy dust and tickle your ear with an invitation to come and join the party. Each show is dedicated to revealing the secret recipes to creating more joy, courage, and purpose in life and business. Join us on the Just Eat the Cake podcast as we discover the ingredients that matter most in this beautiful mess we call life. Show notes and more recipes for joy are available at justeatthecake.com.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, guys, we're back. I love that. Just eat the cake. I love it. Guys, Mary D is an amazing guest, and she is a person who is in high demand for her workshops, her speaking gigs, to work with your company. Welcome back, Mary D.
Thank you. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, we have a great event coming up, the Abundance Amplifier. So I am tapped out in terms of clients. I have a waiting. Yeah, I'm not taking any more one-on-ones. So working on a group program to open that door up a little bit more for you folks that are willing to come on in and do some group work. Group work is great work because you also get to network and support each other and hear from other entrepreneurs. But Abundance Amplifier is coming up November, and it's a week-long event. And we are going to rock your world through high vibe meditation. And I'll tell you, so high vibe that it can take you into a state that most people would say you could only get there on maybe like substances, but without substances. And so, yeah, exactly. Wow. That's the first time I did it, my body was just vibrating. And I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to up level your consciousness. This is what it feels like for your, to have the whole feeling in your body. So it was amazing, guys. And that's just one small nugget for you. We're going to have themed days. We've got relationships. We've got, in both love and in work. So lots of great stuff to cover.
How to get on there, how to get involved? Can you?
Yeah, they can head over to abundanceamplifier.com, and we're happy to rock and roll with them there.
Okay, is there a link on maryd.com too? Can you get over?
I don't have it up yet, but I will.
Okay, awesome. You got fans want to talk to you, so let me go to Mr. Producer here.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So we have Marvin from Texas. He goes, for people aspiring to be a successful business consultant like yourself, would you recommend college or certification for people trying to get their toes wet?
Great question. So this is what I will say. And again, this is based on my experience. No one has ever asked me if I have a degree. If they've asked, it's been way after the fact. No one has said, oh, well, what degree do you have that can tell me about the thing? Most people are going to look for experience. And obviously I hear what you're saying, which is I don't have experience yet. So what do I need? I would say real life experience is going to be what's really going to help you on that launch pad. I would go get an internship. And with that internship, you could do some college. I think your certification is probably going to give you more hands-on frameworks than the actual college experience. So if you were my nephew, that's what I would tell you. I would say, come intern with me. Let me show you and teach you some frameworks. Let me show you how this is done, and come on in, and you'll use your experience in those frameworks, and you'll use them in real time with your clients, and you'll get results. And when you get results, then you will have something big to talk about, and you actually won't have to talk about it. Your clients will do it for you.
Mary D, when you did your internship, did you find a mentor there? Because it kind of seems like maybe you're kind of talking about two of them as almost the same. What is the
Yeah.
goal of the internship, by the way?
Yeah, yeah, it is to have mentorship because mentorship obviously creates a shortcut for you. I had a mentor early on, and it wasn't someone I was necessarily, at least I could tell you, I didn't raise my hand and say, could someone please mentor me?
Right,
I
right.
know that, like I didn't know.
They
Someone
probably
showed
singled
up.
you out because they gave you one task to do and you did it no matter what it was. Then they gave you another one to do. You did that one. And even if it was the smallest thing, like when I did the internship in Comedy Central, if I could photocopy right, they're going to give you the next photocopy. And sooner or later, now, someone invites you to go to lunch with them. And now we talk about the mentorship, right?
That's right. And my mentor opened doors for me. And that's really what he did. That's why I said, go get an internship. It'll open doors for you. I have a mentorship program that's to help open doors for you. It's so that you can walk into a business and go, okay, I don't have customers. I don't know how to do this, but Mary does. So let me work with some of her customers and she's going to show me what she's doing. I'm going to listen. I'm going to hop on a call. I'm going to take some notes. I'm going to do some active things inside that business so that I can gain an understanding. And it also gives you an opportunity to work with different niches and see what feels good for you. Like, where can you identify where your skills and strengths lie within it? And that will help you learn whether it's something you need to specialize in or something that you can actually be a generalist in, because there's room for both of those in the world and in the world of business. Most people will tell you to find a niche because you can get to what you want a lot faster. My life has actually been as a generalist in operations strategy, but that's because the foundation of operations in business is about the same, just about across the board.
That's awesome. I mean, she is such a wealth of information. What else you got, Mr. Producer?
Awesome. We have Brianna from Montana.
Montana.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've always been a socially awkward kid, and now that I've gone through puberty, I'm getting more attention. Am I weird for feeling uncomfortable with people liking me?
So this is where I would say really, really writing down your list of things that you love about yourself is going to be a great practice. And I would encourage you to make that list daily, even if you're repeating yourself. Do the things that make you feel great. Because even if you might feel like you're a little awkward, and awkward, I mean, I would, if you were talking to me right now, I would say, what are you considering awkward? Because you might not be awkward at all. You might just be
Probably not. Right.
yeah, you might just be unique. You might just be in your own feelings right now.
Well, your
And
grandmother said that you were clumsy.
that's right,
You're
grandma
clumsy?
said I was clumsy, but I'm not.
Not clumsy.
Exactly. That's right. And so, use this as an opportunity to redefine awkward, right? Awkward doesn't have to be a bad thing. Awkward can be unique. Awkward can be something special. How many people do we love in media that we would say are a little bit awkward,
Great
but
point.
they're
Way to
super
look
cool
at
too?
it. It's awesome.
Yes, yes, and it's embracing your uniqueness. And how do you just show up as authentically you? Because at the end of the day, that's all of us want people to do. We want to be accepted for who we are and how we roll. And that's the beauty of life. And I believe that as we look at people with compassion and that as we accept people as they are, we also receive acceptance. We become great reflectors of each other.
That's
And I
such
feel
great advice. Such great
yeah,
advice. You're
I
saying
feel
that
like I
embrace that, maybe at the end of the day, you want to be that, as they say, that awkward person. Now you're unique. Now you bring something else. People will remember you, and now it brings up your self-esteem.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And it
Great
really
advice.
that self-love, Casey. You gotta be ready to show up as you and know that, hey, we're all awkward people in a room of awkward people wanting to be liked.
Yeah,
Like we're all just walking each other home. And
yeah.
so how do we do that in a beautiful way?
We all
How
got
do
stories. Yeah, we do got all.
we that's right.
Mary D's awesome, guys. Go to maryd.com. Mr. Producer, what else you got?
I want to do one more instant feedback, and then we're gonna have
Aw,
to close out the show,
aw.
unfortunately.
Goes fast with her.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I believe this is the same guy from before. I'm not quite sure. Same name, same area. We have Marvin from Texas again, and he goes, "What certifications would you recommend for up and coming business consultants?"
Mm. So it really depends what field you're going into when it comes to consulting. So I would say that there are some basic ones that I think are great just as a life skill as well. One is project management. I don't think you're ever going to go wrong with project management because also so many companies that you'll walk into, you'll see some of the inefficiencies, and project management is a really beautiful way to help point that out and also to streamline the work. So I would say that's definitely one to start with. The second one is going to be communication, because you're going to be doing a lot of communicating. And so you really want to make sure that you're in a place where you can speak to what's happening. You want to be able to use reasoning skills, and you want to be able to communicate clearly so that there are not any gaps in the process. So I would say that's another one, really strong one.
Awesome. Mary D, you are an awesome guest. Can you remember I always told you that when my grandmother wanted to hear from me, she'd say, Casey, you have the floor. Mary D, you have the floor. Anything you want us to think about? Until next time, another great show. You're an amazing guest. I can see why you're in such demand.
Thank you, Casey. Yeah, so I would say that my last thoughts here are anytime you feel judgment sneaking up, whether it's from someone else or from yourself, treat it with compassion. Shift the energy and turn on compassion and turn off judgment. And you'll find that for yourself and for that person, you'll be able to lean in and live your best life.
That's awesome. She's great. Guys, that's my guest. That's Mary D. Go to Mary D with it's marydee.com. Mary, I can't wait to hear what you have to say next. Thank you so much. Guys, we'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.